World Financial Group offers entrepreneurs from all backgrounds the opportunity to start their own business on a level playing field. Dr. Yana Woodhouse, receiving the WCM Wall Street Pioneer Award by the United Black Wall Street of America, Inc., is one of those entrepreneurs.
I see WFG and TFA as a place where African Americans with an entrepreneurial mindset can flourish. And the bonus, we help families and serve the communities across the country.
To learn more about us, go to worldfinancialgroup.com.
We are the sons and daughters of the soul. We are resilient and forever forward-thinking. We ask for nothing else than the opportunity to live and to create the lives that we were meant to live. We want nothing but an equal chance at options and possibilities. The same possibilities and options to live out our potential as our fellow man. We want to be heard, understood, and expressive in our reality. We are the future. We are the creative. We are here.
Happy Tuesday, everyone. It is always a pleasure to be in this space to talk about our greatness, to talk about our vulnerability, and how our vulnerability is our strength. Welcome to the Bold Show, and happy Women's Her Story Month. As we continue with our conversations with these powerful women who are changing their lives and changing the lives of others, I am so elated for our guest tonight. We've talked about our emotional stability. We've talked about our physical stability. Tonight, we're going to be focusing on the financial aspect, but we are looking at it from a holistic approach. And like I said before, I'm elated, I'm excited, I'm enthused for our guest tonight. I'm here on this Bold Show, bringing these incredible stories of resilience, of hope, and overcoming our adversities. Our adversities are our strength. Oftentimes, we fail to realize that. Oftentimes, we hide our scars and not recognizing that our scars, they do add value to our lives. But we have to make that conscious decision to decide to act. Without further ado, I'm going to welcome our incredible guest. She's a trailblazer, she's a change maker, and she's living life on her terms. She's living her best life. She just celebrated her 50th birthday, but she's here to show us that age is just a number. It's all about your mindset. Without further ado, I'm going to welcome our guest to our stage tonight, Nelcol Philip. Nicole, welcome.
Hi, thank you so much. Thank you. Oh, that was really beautiful.
It's a pleasure to have you here in this space. And tonight's conversation, we want folks to walk away knowing that they can. You and I are no different. The only thing that sets us aside is we made that conscious decision to act, and we've made that sacrifice to do so. So why don't you tell our viewers who you are?
So my name is Nelcol. Thank you very much, Marie, for actually having me on your show. I've been following it for quite a while, and I would say that you're doing an amazing job, just really uplifting everyone around you and whoever gets the opportunity to listen to your show. So again, thank you so much.
You're most welcome.
Well, a lot of people know me as Nelcol Philip, and they always say, or Nelco Lindsay. So it's both of them, they're all mine. So so I migrated from Grenada in 1995. Um, and in 1992, we came over to the US. As everyone, as a kid, you came over and thinking that, it's America and it's all like, laid with gold. The streets are laid with gold. But at this time, when we got over here, it was just a reality check. So that propelled me to continue my education and continue working forward. So I do have a lot of experience. I would say 30 years of experience in the financial world as an accountant and also as head of HR collectively. And I've worked with several large companies. Uh, Pepsi, GE, Fuji. Those are just some to mention. And also, I attended the Westchester Business Institute, which is known as College of Westchester now, and also Marymount College. So I do have an extensive background in accounting, in HR, and then now I am in financial services because I do feel that there is a need for our community to be financially literate, and that was one of the things that I find that most of our communities, they don't understand finance. You talk about money and then they shy away. So that is me in a nutshell.
Love it, love it, love it. Numbers. I
Mhm.
see and I hear it sounds like numbers make you come alive.
It does. It actually does. I really, really do enjoy it. I really love working with people and I love solving the problem that they have. If someone looked at they're like, oh, my business is not doing well. And I will go in and figure out the ways in which to eliminate the leakage in their numbers and turn it around to make it more profitable. So yes.
Awesome. So we're here tonight, and you took this bold step to be
Mhm.
on the Bold Show tonight, right? What are you hoping that viewers will take away from this interview tonight?
Well, I think one of the things that my major intention is to just let people know that they shouldn't be afraid of looking at their entire financial portfolio. They shouldn't be afraid to dig deep and figure out what their future holds. They shouldn't be afraid to think that of fear, the future, fear numbers. I am here to try to make it more comfortable and give you an idea of where I started, my pitfalls, and how I was able to get back up and where I am now. So it's more of like a roadmap. This is what happened to me. I'm sure that it happened to a lot of people. I'm just here to chat. And if, for instance, someone needs to get in touch with me, then, I'll be happy to assist. But I am just here to give my own views on how I did it. And hopefully, you will find some golden nuggets in what I'm about to share tonight.
Ah, exciting. I love it. I love it. But if I hear you correctly, you mentioned there is the sphere of numbers, especially in our Black and
Mhm.
Brown communities, right? The communities that we come from.
Yes. Mhm.
So folks may be sitting and they're listening, and oftentimes I think it's human nature, and especially with social media, right? We see the glow up, but
Yes.
no one understands the in between and what it takes to get there. So for someone who is probably in a pitfall, for someone who is not surrounding by that support network that is going to say to them, hey, your financial health is your responsibility? What would you say to them in a nutshell?
Well, I would say to them, I said, first you have to figure out what is your greatest fear. Because a lot of individuals are like, oh, yeah, I'm afraid of numbers. But why are you afraid of numbers? You know, um, do you want to know what your credit score is? Do you want to know those things? Like, why are you afraid of numbers? Who told you that numbers is bad? No, it's not. So once you change your mindset, then it makes a huge difference. And I always have, like, my motto is, it's like, you have to change it or become a phoenix, because you're starting from the bottom and with the ashes, and then now once you get comfortable, now you get the wings, and you have your wings, and you now elevate into a whole different level. So it's just an amazing experience, because once you get to that point and you're like, oh my gosh, why was I afraid? Then you're like at the high level. So it's pretty good.
I love that analogy of the
Mhm,
phoenix bird, right?
mhm,
And I think that's like such a powerful analogy as well, because oftentimes the fears that we develop, it's actually from birth. Like this is
mhm.
what we grew up and this is what we were told, and not understanding why. So our
Yeah.
quest is to figure out that why. But
Mhm.
you're sitting here tonight, and I know who you are. I've watched you. I see that you're this trailblazer, and you're living your life on your terms unequivocally, right? How did you give yourself that permission to start living?
Well, I think once when I got over to the US, in 1992, I was 18 years old, and literally, it was it was a shock to my system. But my entire family has been entrepreneurs. So my mom, she had a hairdressing salon. She used to make dresses and stuff. And then my dad, God bless his soul, he passed away in 2007. He was a mechanic, but he believed in community, and he trained like everyone around him some part, either to do the mechanic work, or either to paint the cars. So anyone who came from his village knew, had a trade, and understood what needed to be done. So with that, and growing up in that type of environment, I realized that is community. It's entrepreneurship, and also give back. You have to train, you have to give back, you have to share your knowledge. I had an uncle who had his own business, again in Grenada. He was the only one that had three media platforms. And so when I came over here, and then I had to work or go into do a 9 to 5, it was always a challenge for me, because I didn't understand the structure part of it. So with that, I literally were able to figure out what I wanted to do. So I knew I had to put my time in. I knew I had to give back. I knew I had to understand, the American way of doing things in order to get where I needed to get. But I always had a goal. I always had a dream. I always knew what I wanted to do. So I did it. I went ahead. I worked. And that's where I am now.
I love it. So if I hear you correctly, it sounds as if like you grew up in an incubator of entrepreneurship.
Yes.
So you were being prepared for this moment. And I
Yes.
think oftentimes in lives, like we fail to realize that we have all of what we need around us and within us. And oftentimes we look externally, and that's where the distraction comes up. But
Sure.
you've been this confident woman. I want us to talk about those roadblocks. Because what folks don't understand, they may look at you and they may look at I, and they see these women who are just doing what it is that they want, right? But they don't understand that we do have our moments where we have that negative self-talk that comes up,
Mm-hmm.
but we're
Mm-hmm.
able to quiet that voice. We have
Mm-hmm.
moments when we are saying to ourselves, oh my God, how can I do that? But then going back to what you said initially, it's our mindset, having
Mm-hmm.
that growth mindset. I often tell folks, I don't worry about not having enough money to do what I want. I don't worry about not having resources, because success to me is being obedient to what I was called to do. And that's exactly what you're doing. So take us on that journey of your pitfalls and where you are.
So I would say in at 22 in college, I got pregnant and I had I had a son. But I remember my goal was so was so clear. My roadmap was so clear that 2 weeks after I had my son, I went back to school. So that, yep, it was Easter. It was the Easter weekend break. That's when I had him. He was born on Good Friday, and then school reopened after Easter break. I went back to school because I was so driven. I knew that I had to finish my degree, and there was nothing that was going to stop me, because without my degree, I couldn't get, good health insurance. I couldn't get this. So there was, like, different stages in which, build me from, from that stage. So it was nothing was going to stop me. And then after I had him, I graduated with my first degree, and then I went into school for my BA, and it was night classes, it was weekend classes, because I knew what I wanted. So my encouragement to individuals, when you think that you don't have help or you don't have support, you need to find it. You need to be able to, figure out what your goals are. Do not let anything stop you. Do not let anything stop you when you have your goals. So after I had him, I went full throttle into corporate. All of the Fortune 500s. I was just applying, getting into there, understand, as I said before, understanding the culture and build my portfolio. So Marie knows that I've done like so many different, business ventures. I've also, I would say I had like about 15 different jobs, people. So it's okay to change jobs once you get bored, or once you max out and you realize that there is a glass ceiling, and they do not want to promote you or anything like that, because as Black females, we've actually had so many roadblocks in corporate. So, but don't let that stop you. I just think that you just need to move forward and go ahead. So that, in I think one of the major pitfalls that I had, I think in 2007, when my father passed away, I decided to go back to Grenada. I took a sabbatical break. I went back to Grenada, and I opened a club. It was a restaurant. It was a restaurant, and I was like, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do this. But we all know what happened. The recession hit, so that actually fell through. But I didn't give up. So, and then I came back to the U.S., started all over, and then I started in real estate. So I did a lot of real estate investing and flips and, buying home. And this is where I am now.
I love it. I absolutely love it. And in listening to you talk just now, this thought came to me that everyone wants to be great, but
Mm-hmm.
you are willing to make the necessary sacrifices to become great.
Mm-hmm.
Because we're sitting here today and it's just because of sacrifices and because we gave ourselves permission. But it also sounded as if you had a village. You have
Yes,
people who are supportive around you. Talk to
correct.
me about those supports, because I hear this term, I'm self-made and I can do this by myself.
No, you can't.
I think that's BS.
No, you
Talk to
can't.
me about your supports.
I would say that, my family, they are my cheerleaders. When I say, when I say I want to do something there, especially my mom. My mom is like, okay, what are you going to be doing now? And I'm like, I want to do this, this, this. And she was like, okay, well, if you want to do this, then I'll be able to help you with Kayvon. That's my son. My sister also, she was also a major support. She helped, if I'm running late to pick up my son at the babysitter, my sister and my brother will be there to help me, because, at 6 o'clock, you have to pick up your sons. So your kids, and I know that to this day is the same. But, support, support. My entire family was there. They My sister even went with me to Grenada, to help me with the restaurant and the club. She was there too. So when we're moving as a herd. We're moving together, and you cannot do it by yourself. There is no way anyone can actually become successful by themselves. It doesn't work.
So there's this African proverb that goes, if you want to go fast, go alone. If
Mm,
you want to go far, go together.
that's true. That is true. 100%.
No
I
man is
agree.
an island. So I want to push, if you'll give me permission, right,
Go ahead.
to probe some more around you taking this leap of faith and going to Grenada and opening up a whole restaurant and club.
Mhm. Yeah.
Talk to me about the courage it took to do that, you and your sister.
So I remembered when I wrote my final one of my final papers, because my major was in business admin, minor in accounting. So I wrote my final paper. It was a business plan, and it was a business plan of a restaurant on the island. So I did all my research. I did everything in there, and I just had the full business plan there. So when the opportunity came, when my father passed away, um, I went back. I went back. I was like, he worked so hard and did not enjoy his life because he was working to try to provide for his entire family, didn't take breaks, didn't take anything. And even though we encouraged that, he still didn't. He would do minor vacations, but nothing to really talk about. And so when I saw that, I was like, we cannot be working this hard and not enjoy our um, our fruits of labor. So I decided that I was gonna just make the move. Went to Grenada, found a place, came back up to the US, and then bought, all the furnitures and everything and shipped it down.
Just like that.
It was just like that. It was just like that. And I was, I had just bought my house in Connecticut, in Norwalk, and I was like, I gotta do this. I am tired of working 9 to 5. I gotta do this. I'm gonna take the leap. But the leap was around the wrong time because it was the recession that hit. So, but it was a form of correction. I never say that it was a mistake or anything like that. I think, I look at um, any pitfalls as a correction in my, in my life. So I took it with a grain of salt, and I came back up to the US, nearly bankrupt. Nearly bankrupt. And again, thanks to my family, thanks to my family, I was able to, stay with my mom until for like a year or so, until I got back on my feet. And then I just started the process. I was like, listen, I did it before. I know exactly what I need to do. I can do it again. And this time I'll do it much better.
And this time, I will do it much better.
That's
I
right.
absolutely love that. So here we are talking to this incredible phoenix. Pregnant at 22, went back to school 2 weeks after giving birth. Moved to Grenada, opened a restaurant after the death of her father.
Yeah. Yeah.
And here she is today. And she's going to wow you all tonight. Transformation. And I always say to folks, you cannot have transformation without construction.
That's right.
So it's so needed. And despite the fact that you've had all this support of your family and doting friends, you've done some work on yourself. So let's go there for a second, because you believed in yourself so much. She believed in her, and you or she. Talk to me about the work you did on yourself to be able to propel others around you.
So, my gosh, Marie, you asking like all of these amazing questions. So, one of I would say the major thing that I did was when I lived in Grenada, I realized that the level of materialistic stuff that we were, like killing ourselves here in America to purchase, to have the home, the car, like to impress people that we don't even like, to do all those things. When I went back home and I see how humble, the people whom lived, don't get it wrong, they live a really good life, but they take their time. They move at a slower pace. They enjoy themselves. And so we were not doing that here. So I decided then to start meditating, to start, exercising, to start, giving myself, and my family, I always send out gratitude messages and stuff, just letting people know that there are other things that are available to give you a peace of mind. Because I had to change my mindset. I had to really look in my heart to see what I really wanted to be, in the next 5 years, in the next, 6 months, 5 years, whatever, I actually set my goals at. And I made a conscious effort, and I did make those changes, and I didn't compromise. I tried very hard not to compromise on what I wanted to do. So that definitely made a huge difference, especially when I came back from, in 2011 when I came back from Grenada.
Oh, I love it. This is like music to my ears. And for all our dope females out there, because it's Women's History Month, right? I'm gonna say this to females, like you gotta find your rhythm and you gotta dance.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. And everyone, and I love being free. I love dancing like no one is looking. I don't care. Like I enjoy myself. I enjoy my life. And people may think that this individual who will show off or whatever. Listen, I'm not showing off. I am just being me. I am just enjoying me, my hard work, because no one but my family knows exactly how much I had to sacrifice to get where I am right now. So I encourage I encourage other people, I educate people. This is what I did. Let's do it. You can do it too. So you can enjoy yourself. So as Marie said before, yes, I turned 50 and my birthday was last month. And I'm like, it's the next 50 years. I am going to do work, have fun, educate, meditate, and continue learning, growing, and enjoying me.
Ah, as social workers, we often say we are lifelong learners.
That's
So
right.
what I love about your messaging just now, it's just reminding folks that the first step is finding out who you are. You got to dig deep. It may be painful. You may not want to go there, but we have to get out of our heads because I always say we are our worst enemies. We talk down to ourselves. We create such monsters when monsters are not there. But if we take a step back, and again, I sound like a broken record because I'm always saying this, it's about your mindset. Change your mind and you could change your life. You
That's
talked
true.
about you meditate, you exercise, you lived in gratitude, something
Hmm.
that oftentimes we take for granted, not stopping to say thank you and to show appreciation. That changes your whole life when you are able to get to that place. But I want to go back for a second because this is a perfect segue into
Hmm.
the deep conversation we're going to have tonight. Because when you talked about your dad dying and you talked about the fact that you watched your dad worked his entire life, but he never gave himself the opportunity to enjoy his hard work. He didn't know how to do that. And I think you and I spoke about this in our pre meeting. We talked about when I look in social media and I see people setting up GoFundMe to
Yeah.
bury their loved ones. That just drives me crazy. And it just makes me wonder where we are as a people. Let's dive into this financial conversation and how you were able to get to this place in your life after bankruptcy. Here you
Hmm.
are, homeowner. You just told me you're going on a plane. You're hopping to Grenada tomorrow, right?
Yes.
How
Yes.
do you manage that and still have that financial freedom that you?
Hmm.
Let's talk about it.
So, one of my aha moments was when my father passed away, and he didn't have a will.
Mm.
So, without a will, you know, um, he was married, his second wife. So basically, she had full, control of what happens because, he never had a will. And it didn't work out for like the first set of kids. because obviously it wasn't like, an equal share of assets. So with that, when me as a financial person, individual, professional, seeing that, um, it really propelled me and pushed me so that I can educate people on how important it is to have a will, to protect your assets, to know how your money is going to be, allocated at the point of death. And I know within our community we do not like talking about wills or insurance because, oh, we're calling debt. No, we're not. We're actually trying to protect the people that depend on us. Because if you have kids at home and they're dependent on you for your income to have shelter, to have food, to have clothing, if something happens to you, then what happens to them? So that is a major concern. And within our community, we do not have that type of protection. And the GoFundMe stuff is not a form of insurance. It is not a form of insurance. A individual 30 years old can get at least $1 million worth of insurance, and it's less than $100 a month. So you could look at different options of protecting. You have a baby, you have kids, you have parents. There are so many different stuff that protection that is there. So
Wow.
that was my aha moment. That's the reason why, I right now I am really helping a lot of small business individuals who has partnerships. I'm helping individuals, family members, newly married, all of those who now have babies. That's the people that I really want them to come and understand the importance of being protected and also planning for the future.
That's so important. But I think what I'm going to ask of you as well, right, is to really explain to our viewers, right, what it means. What does financial advising means?
Okay.
What does that look like?
So, in my for me, first, I would like for anyone who wants to understand to actually schedule a meeting with me. But to just break it down, what it is, we look at what you have. So, meaning your salary, your income, revenue, child support, whatever alimony, whatever money that is coming in. And then we look at what is going out. Like, what are you spending your money on? If you're spending your money on frivolous stuff, like, all name brand items and all of those stuff, then we in turn will come and say, okay, but are you protecting your children? Are you protecting your house? Like, like those are the different things, because just in case something happens, you need to make sure that you're covered. Are you saving for the future? So all those areas are things in which we come in and we really work with individuals, and everybody case is different. So that's the reason why it's not cookie cutter. We have to listen. We build a lifetime relationship with our clients to make sure that they understand the importance of planning.
Awesome. How would you say your background helped
Mhm.
you, to navigate the terrains of being a financial advisor?
Well, with my background, as I said, the last 30 years I've been in accounting, and on the upper level for the last 10 years, I've been in a managerial level, and also, my and director of human resources. So I was, I was like meeting and onboarding employees and also offboarding them, which I don't like saying terminating, but I was responsible for that. And all the benefit plans, I was responsible for all of that, implementing it within the company. So that gave me a really clear view on all the intricate part. So I'm like a double threat because I'm not just financial service, I'm also accounting. So I understand what it is, that small businesses needs, and I understand what it is that family needs. So I am definitely a double threat when coming to that area, because with you know individuals would be like, oh, well, I don't know where my money is, but I work with people on their budgets. So I would tell them, hey, this is where we need to cut some costs. This is where we need to allocate some money to. And someone who doesn't know where their money is going on a monthly basis, definitely needs my help.
Mm. So, talking about that financial health, right? And
Mm-hmm.
that relationship with money, because I think that's one of the biggest struggles that we have, because of that ignorance, right?
Mm-hmm.
And also because we're driven by social media and what's around us, right? We have gotten so accustomed, like you said earlier, to show up just to please others,
Mm-hmm.
others that don't even know us. And that's like really tragic. Um, as a Black woman, a bold woman, what would you say to an individual who may feel stuck and feel married to a position that is daunting and it's no longer fulfilling? Um, what suggestion would you give to them to take that dive, to just up and walk?
Well, I wouldn't just say up and walk,
Mhm.
because if that person have, a family, somebody who is dependent on their income, and dependent on their livelihood, I wouldn't say up and walk. I would say that you have to look to see what your experience, what transferable, experience that you have. Work with a career coach, because there's a lot of people out there that are really good career coach. Work with a career coach. Also, you need to try and find a really good recruiter, because some of the recruiters are ones that are could identify the transferable skills and put you into a new position. Do not just get up and leave, because if you leave the job, you will not get unemployment. Now,
Thank you
you,
for that.
I know that's the HR part in me. You will not get unemployment. You will, if they fire you, yes, you'll be eligible for unemployment. So that's just, a little nugget that I'm throwing out there. But if you feel stuck, you need to speak to a career coach, and then they will be able to guide you if you don't know the next, your next step into your career path.
What if this individual does not have money to hire a career coach? Like, what options are there for this individual?
There is so much stuff on social media.
Okay.
There are so much stuff on social media, and even now with the new AI platform, Chat GPT, you can actually just download it and say, currently working as this, what are some of my transferable, talents, and give me a list of, three positions or three jobs that you think will suit my experience. It will like literally list it out. So if you don't have the funds for a career coach, then social media, spend some time there, not just screen hawking, but make it useful. Go in there, and you'll be able to find it. And you also have to figure out what is your passion, because some people have side hustles and they think, oh, it's a side hustle, but you can actually really make a good living off of that if you're passionate about it. So you have to really look at what you like to do, and it would not feel like work, because right now I don't feel like if I'm working, because I love what I do.
Mm.
So back when I was sitting in the office 9 to 5, it felt like work. It felt heavy.
I think this is a perfect segue to like ask you about what that transition looked like for you when you decide to walk away from corporate and to become your own boss.
Wow. I think like it was a sigh of relief. I mean, it was my second time. It was my second time, doing the walk away. The first time, as I stated, was in 2007. And then the second time is now it's in 2020. So it it was the first time I did it, I was fearless.
Mm.
I was like, I am doing this, because I'm young, and this, if I can bounce back, I can bounce back, if it doesn't go right. But I wasn't even thinking about it wasn't going to go right. I was literally like, this is what I want to do, this is what it is, and I'm going full throttle. I'm a risk taker. So it doesn't matter what it is, I will figure out a way to get it done. So I did that. So in 2020, I had more to lose because I was being extremely conservative because of what happened to me, almost 10 years ago. So I was extremely strategic. I was so afraid to make that change because I thought that I remembered where I was, in 2011, and I was like, I don't want to get back there, but I planned. I made a 10-year plan, and I was able to execute it in 6 years because I was able to, I acquire properties. I did this because if you do not have, passive income coming in, it's like it doesn't work. You have to have multiple streams of income. This is something that, I tell everyone. I don't care what it is, sell something online, whatever you need to do, you need to have multiple streams of income. You know, a dollar is a dollar. So, and so I was more prepared. So when it came in 2020 and I made that change, it was okay. I can travel a little bit more because I put things in place, but I so enjoy being a financial advisor that most of my time was taken up into that. I had some businesses, some small businesses that I was still working with, to help transition to make sure that they're profitable. Once I completed that, it was straight through. And it has been, I was like, why didn't I do this before? Why didn't I, go in this full time? So, yeah.
What's one of your proudest moments of being a financial advisor? And what's one of your moments when you are not so proud of yourself?
Hmm. So I think the first month when I decided to make the switch, I was like, my God, I am not getting my paycheck.
Mm.
I was like, I'm not getting a paycheck. I had to. So I was like, wow. So
Mm.
that was a, it was an aha moment. But then, I was like, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. This is what I want to do. So I put on everything, all my energy into it, and I am enjoying the ride. So,
Wow.
yeah.
And you said something earlier about passion, and now you said enjoying the ride.
Yeah.
I think folks don't understand the importance of getting up and going to a 9 to 5 and being fulfilled. I always say to people, if you're getting up and you're going somewhere for 8 hours out of your day and you're going to be miserable, you need to get out of there.
Yes.
When you get up in the mornings, I believe that you should be excited.
Mm-hmm.
Knowing you're going to work, that alone should get you out of your bed and you'll be ready and so motivated.
Mm-hmm.
When you lack that motivation, it's a clear indication that it's time for you to go elsewhere. I'm also going to tie this back into the state of mind, the cultural pressure,
Mm-hmm.
the pressure we get from our family, the pressure we even get from religion,
Mm-hmm.
right? How do you say to someone who is so closed and someone who is still in that box, how would you help them to think? Because it starts with the thought. You have to have the
Yeah.
thought. How would you help them to start that shift in their mindset?
You know, something, Marie, not everyone is born to be an entrepreneur. Some people, they're very much comfortable in their 9 to 5, and they're very much comfortable in, going to work. So if that person, even though they are unhappy, it's probably just that specific job. If they get a different job, a different 9 to 5, then most likely they will be satisfied. But if that person is moving from job to job, you know that a 9 to 5 does not work for them. So that person is an entrepreneur, but they don't even know it because they're not feeling fulfilled. So once they're at that point, then that is the person that you need to speak to and say, listen, what are you really passionate about? Because you're moving from one place to the next, one job to the next, and you're not feeling fulfilled. There is a hunger in you that, you need to really, let out. And if that person feels um, that they're caged, then once you see they find their joy, they will move like full throttle. They will move so fast because they're enjoying it. They're enjoying themselves. So you tend to have to understand and listen to individuals when they speak, and not encourage everyone to go into the entrepreneurial world, because a lot of them don't have the heart for it. A lot of them don't have the heart for it. So you have to figure that out.
And you're so right about that. In your experience, have you ever met an individual? Because I think when we talk about financial literacy and
Mm-hmm.
financial health, we have to take a holistic approach, right? So for me, I honestly believe it's like you have to peel away the layers
Yeah.
and get to that emotional aspect where folks
Hmm.
are stuck, because we want to unlearn some of those messages that they got as a kid growing up, whatever it is.
Hmm.
Um, what would you say are some of your superpowers as being a financial advisor?
Connection.
Mm,
Because I am real. I don't just go in to say, oh, I'm going in to to sell, insurance. That's not my thing. I try to be extremely relatable. Like, I will ask simple questions. Like, who are you trying to protect? You know, are you trying to protect your kids, yourself, your husband, your spouse? Like, who are you trying to protect? And then I would say again, like, why is this important to you? Like, I ask those questions because you need to understand why they want to do it. I will also say to them, like, where is your family going to live if something happens to you? If you lose your job, like, what's going to happen? And even like some people would be like, oh, it's not the right time to protect. But then when is the best time?
mm,
When is the best time to protect your family? Because people are protecting their house, they're protecting their cars, they're protecting their phones. They're not protecting themselves. They're not protecting their kids. I think the priority is in the wrong place, and they have to figure out what they need to do. What is the right step? People are protecting the wrong things. I'm not saying, oh, protect your phone, but you got to protect your life. The phone could be replaced, your life cannot.
mm. That's powerful. Say that again.
A phone could be replaced, a car could be replaced, a house could be replaced, but your life cannot.
And we have one life to live, and we got to make it work
That's
and live
right.
each day like it's your last, because tomorrow
That's
is not guaranteed. Um,
right.
I think also, like, just here having this conversation, and I myself who have learned over
Hmm.
the years about the importance of protecting myself and protecting my loved ones, and not being afraid to talk about death. We're all going to die someday. Get over it. Anyhow, but I think for me, what I want you to sort of highlight, when someone is in the market to look for insurance, right? And they
Hmm.
like, what are some of the best signs that folks should look for in deciding what insurance company that they should go for, or some of the trends that we're seeing in today's society?
Well, there's a lot of things out there, and there's a lot of good companies. There's a lot of like companies that just popped up, maybe in the last 10, 15 years. But when you align yourself with a company that went through so much recession, this, that, and has been around for over 100 years, you know that they're doing something right. So it's all about how comfortable you are with your advisor. And I would tell people, I would talk to them. And if, for instance, they feel that they're not, we're not compatible, I'd be like, okay, so I would please find someone else. But you have to find a financial advisor to help you, So I may not be able to work with everyone, or some people may not be able to get approved through some of the companies that I work with, but that doesn't mean that they shouldn't. I will refer them to someone else, or, tell them that they need to find, but just get protected. And then afterwards, so that's it is a need. It is a need for everyone to be protected. You're building a legacy for your family. You're building a legacy for you. There are different types of plants. There are different types of products, but it's a matter of understanding what your needs are. I don't just sell, as I said before, I don't just sell insurance. I need to make sure that I have you as a lifetime. If you want and you like, oh my God, should I buy this? Call me. I'll be like, do you really need it or do you want it?
Understanding that difference between a need and a want, right?
Exactly.
Awesome.
So that's the type of relationship. And then your kids now, can call me when they get older, your kids, their grandkids, because I'll be around for a while.
I love that confidence. She'll be around for a while.
Yeah.
So it was such a profound pleasure to be in this space with you and to have this conversation. We're talking to the lovely Nelcol Philip. She's the financial service professional with Mass Mutual. She recently took that dive again to be an entrepreneur, and she's here. This is a woman at 22 got pregnant, and 2 weeks later, after giving birth, she went back to college because she understood the importance. She's experienced bankruptcy, but look at her today. She's talking about property and she's talking about her financial wealth. You can do it too. You just have to be willing to make that sacrifice. So this is my question I always ask all of my guests. Complete this statement. Nicole is
confident, successful, grateful, family oriented. I mean, it's and blessed.
Love it, love it, love it. Thank you again. It was indeed a pleasure. And like I say to my viewers every night when I come in the space, give yourselves permission. Don't live in what if. Our funeral homes and the cemeteries are so rich because we have so many people who die because they were afraid to tap into that passion and they were afraid to live. Without further ado, continue to be awesome, audacious, and to know your worth and your value. I like to say, we're not screaming as Black women. We're just letting you know that we're here.
That's right. Making a difference.
Be awesome. Thank you to all my viewers. It was a pleasure. And thank you, Mashida Phillips. She said it was an amazing interview. Good night, my love hearts.
Thank you.
We are the sons and daughters of the soul. We are resilient and forever forward thinking. We ask for nothing else than the opportunity to live and to create the lives that we were meant to live. We want nothing but an equal chance at options and possibilities. The same possibilities and options to live out our potential as our fellow man. We want to be heard, understood, and expressive in our reality. We are the future. We are the creative. We are here.